what's still going on right now? Baseball. But we're halfway through, guys, surprisingly. It's actually going pretty fast. And Tyler's here to ask us all about what we've thought so far, I think, at the halfway point. Right, Tyler?
That's right. Last week, baseball surpassed its halfway point of the season, which it always comes around too fast for me. But the halfway point is always fun because you get the All-Star game. You get the home run derby, which in my opinion is one of the best events in sports. But we're going to talk first about the first half of this 2021 MLB season. And we're just going to go around the horn and talk about everyone's kind of favorite moments, storylines that happened so far, and kind of what they're looking forward to for the second half. It's been a great one so far. So let's get into it. James, what do you got? What's your favorite moment, storyline of the first half of the season so far?
My favorite moment so far was Trey Mancini's first at-bat this season. A little bit of background information here. Trey Mancini is a first baseman / outfielder for the Baltimore Orioles, a team that is horrendous this year. Doesn't disparage the fact that in 2020, he was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. He underwent surgery, chemo, treatments, and missed the entire 2020 season. Right around spring training, he was officially diagnosed as cancer-free. And so he had an amazing spring training. I think he hit like 340 with a couple home runs and looked amazing. But it's just so emotional when he finally went back out there. And there's actually fans in the stands, and he's out there on his first at-bat, and he knocks one. It wasn't a home run, but he had a hit at his first at-bat. And to see him get to first base and hug the Red Sox first baseman, I think it was Chavez. I don't remember. But every time he got on base from that point forward, it's just like, I'm glad you're here kind of thing. It's really cool to see how baseball is a very family, and like you realize some things are bigger than baseball. Life is definitely bigger than baseball. Health is bigger than baseball. So it's cool to see that happen. And this year has been a great year for him. He has 15 home runs this season. He's actually going to be in the home run derby, so you're going to see him on next Monday, the 12th, competing against Shohei Ohtani. It'll be good to see. It's a great story, good feel-good story. Trey Mancini, amazing.
Definitely, that's a great one. It's always good to see those comeback stories, especially with something like that. Gives a lot of people hope and joy, and for something that was, pretty traumatic. So, great one there, James. Alex, what do you got? What's your favorite first half moment so far?
Yeah, it's got to be Jacob deGrom. I mean, he is insane. He's the best pitcher in baseball, and it's not even close. I mean, up until I think his last start where he gave up 3 earned runs, which, any other guy would be like, okay, that's pretty good. He had more RBIs as a batter than earned runs allowed. That's insane unless your name is Shohei Ohtani. Like, that's nuts. I mean, he's throwing harder and harder as his career goes on. I don't even know how to describe how good he is. I mean, obviously I've watched Clayton Kershaw for 13 years, and Kershaw's never done anything like what DeGrom's doing this year. I mean, Kershaw's the best pitcher of this generation. DeGrom's the next one now, even though he started a little bit older, but he's having an amazing season. He's had a couple of little injury issues, and I really hope he can finish this season out and we see one of the all-time great pitching seasons ever. Bob Gibson in 1969, something like that, where they have to like change a rule because of how good Jacob deGrom is. Because it's getting to that point. I mean, he feels unfair. He's thrown the most 100-mile-an-hour pitches this season. He's nuts. Like I don't know how anyone ever gets a hit off of him, but Jacob deGrom, keep doing your thing. Yeah, he's been amazing.
Yeah, that was actually my number one kind of moment, and kind of looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. I mean, I'm glued in to see if he can get a sub-1. I think it's insane to think about, but we're halfway through and he's there so far. Just copy and paste. Second, I know it's easier said than done, but I think deGrom has a great shot at doing it, and we're witnessing history. So if you're not already paying attention to Jacob deGrom ERA and his amazing season, get on board because it is incredible. These kind of seasons do not happen very often. Eric, what do you got?
I got my boy Ohtani. I foreshadowed this 2 years ago that he would be really good. I was 1 year off, but I think we've been praising him a lot this year. He leads the league in home runs, making his first All-Star appearance ever. He's first in slugging percentage in the AL, second in runs created in the AL, second in total bases, first in triples, third in RBIs, and he is the first All-Star player to be voted both in the pitching position and the DH position. Just a lot of crazy stats, and I know that we're all big fact check stat guys. So seeing all these different unique stats caught my attention. But especially Mike Trout has been out for a good amount of time now. He's kind of picked up the load for the Angels. The Angels are still in their fashion of 9 games back out of a spot, but he's given them some hope. He's staying consistent, and that's something the Angels need. 10 home runs and 30 strikeouts 2 different times. The only other guy to do that was Babe Ruth. Ever heard of him? Tyler was once a good baseball player. But yeah, just Ohtani kind of filling in the shoes that people kind of saw when he got his Rookie of the Year. He kind of had an off year last year, but it's good to see him kind of pick things back up. And that was, something that caught my attention, obviously because I'm an Angels fan too, but it's good to see him doing well.
Yeah, he's lighting up the league. He's finally showcasing what we've all been expecting and the potential that he could bring with being this two-way player that's really never seen in this league. And he's doing it at an elite level. Obviously he's an all-star. He's going to be in the home run derby. I've loved watching Shohei play this year. He's probably been my favorite player to watch this season. And I think he's easily front runner for MVP right now in the American League. I hope he keeps it up. Mike Trout hopefully comes back at some point, and seeing those two on the same team is going to be something to watch when they're both healthy and playing right. So I'm really looking forward to more from Shohei, especially in the home run derby. I think that's going to be really, really fun to watch. Traden, what's your top moment?
Yeah, surprise, surprise. I think the top moment would have to be the batting average. The batting average drop. I'll tied with the when I say tied, I mean alongside the foreign substance issues that we've seen this season. And I guess what I just find it most interesting, we talked about this countless weeks, so I know that everyone's bored about it, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it. Just it's just interesting that the first couple weeks, Tyler, you opened up, and I took almost every one of these weeks just because I think it's just so fascinating how baseball is all about stats, so it's really interesting to see how the game shifted season over season. But you started with saying, hey, batting average is down. What do you think about this? Is it bad for the game? And I said, no, it's just kind of a start to the season. And then it kind of persisted. And then the foreign substance thing kind of, really came about, and it's really been kind of the dominant headline of the whole season. It's not the greatest headline. I mean, not the fun headline, but it is definitely a big headline for Major League Baseball. And it's very interesting to see how once they implemented the ban, which I think is 2 weeks old now, I believe this is the 2 weeks that they actually suspending for players. The batting averages have already jumped. And they jumped about 7 points in June toward, from the middle point of June to towards the end. And it just shows that maybe that had a bit to do with it. Spin rates are down pretty notably. When you look at the league average, it's down about 150 revolutions per minute, which doesn't seem like a lot when you're talking about 2,400 RPM. But when the entire league is averaging that, that's hundreds of pitchers, thousands of pitches, over the course of those 2 weeks. That is, considerable differences. And we might just see that continue. We've already seen Hector Santiago get ejected under the protocols. I believe that was last week. He plays for the Mariners. If you didn't know that, I assume you did. And now we're just starting to see. I mean, we saw the pitchers for both teams at the Dodgers Giants game get looked at. I believe it was, who was your pitcher that day, Tyler?
Buehler.
Yeah. Buehler was checked twice from what I remember in the same game. And I believe there's some pitchers that are having to drop their pants to check for substances. And it's just crazy banana lands out there when it comes to this. And it's just interesting to see how this story, if the story is eventually going to, kind of be put to rest. I just find it surprising that Hector Santiago got pinned so early. I think we expected it to happen like a month or two, not a week. Like, I knew no one would get ejected in the first week, but to have it happen in the second week that they're checking, like, dude, come on. And then I think you're just going to see that, the suspensions are going to drop precipitously. I can say it again, because it's just, they're just not going to risk it anymore. They're checking seemingly almost every inning. Even Alex's boy DeGrom was checked. But obviously he's not an issue. It's also interesting. There's a lot of players that are speaking out about the issues on it with gripping the ball. I don't need to get into that. You guys know more than me than that, but it's just quite an interesting dynamic. And it's parallel to the steroid era that we saw in the oddies, early 2000s, 90s area. So.
Yeah, definitely been a very interesting. We've talked about it so much, and they've been really interesting discussions, and it's been interesting to watch. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out, how many suspensions we'll get. I agree. The fact that we got one already in the first 2 weeks is pretty incredible. So we'll see if there's any more. We'll see, how intense the umpires are, if they're going to keep. I mean, they're checking. It seems like every other inning or so. With these pitchers. So we'll see if they continue that rate of inspection or what. So we'll see what happens with that, but that's definitely something to watch. And it's been, like I said, one of the most dominating storylines, unfortunately, because we prefer to talk about players and, guys like Shohei and DeGrom, but we're talking about sticky stuff on a baseball, but it is important. It's part of the game. So, it is what it is, but definitely something to look forward to. For me, kind of, first half, and especially looking forward to the second half, like the battle in the National League West, I think is incredible. I think we all expected, Dodgers and Padres to be on top of the division, but here come the San Francisco Giants out of nowhere and have made that a huge 3-team monster in the National League West. And I'm super intrigued to see how that's going to play out, because it could be any one of those three. We've been, kind of shoving the Giants to the side for a very long time, but they're here and they're here to stay. Currently, the Dodgers and Giants are separated by half a game, and the Padres, I believe, are 3.5 games out of first place right now. So it's tight. It's going to be tight all the way through. So that battle, to me, is going to be really, really fun to watch. Those are probably going to be the top 3 teams in the National League when it's all said and done. And 2 of them are going to be playing in the wild card game for a 1-game battle to see who makes it to the next round. So that's going to be super fun. So that, for me, is my best moment or storyline of the first half.